Wait, you weren't supposed to subscribe. Chat, you weren't supposed to subscribe. Okay, wait. Give me a moment. You're not supposed to subscribe. Let me lay down some ground rules. One, welcome to the stream. This is the surprise. You want the founders badge. That's I was reading up on how the stuff works. So for context, I have no clue how any of this works, but we now have some interesting, fun things that we can do now in this channel. One, I'm subbed, which means that I'm an affiliate, which means that we have the ability to make money off of this. Two, I can run ads at any moment. So it's like a fun thing that can like possibly happen. I can now do this. Okay. You know that word that I always tell you not to say in here, just in case, like, say Jeff Bezos is listening or something. Imagine if you say it, or you try to say it, and something just happens. Like, imagine the system tries to shut you down. Feet? No, it's that other word. The word that starts with a U. Starts with a U. It's Oh, I know. It's a thing where people come together and they try to like band together against the corporate structure. It's called a union. A union. Now you're the only person who's not seeing the ad, and so we have to wait now. Onion, onion. Actually, wait. In the meantime, let me just load up that clip. But yeah, now I have control over the ad timing, which is great. Because that was the most annoying part of this entire thing was when the ads would like run. It'd be so annoying when like there'd be pre-stream or something, or there'd be stuff in the way, or people would like miss some cool moments. I noticed it myself because I have my stream running in like a second window, and I listen to myself because I'm a narcissist, and so it was very, very frustrating. However, the problem is that even if you run shorter ads, it doesn't necessarily stop all the ads. So the most that we can do is run like a minute and a half of ads to avoid the overflow of like stuff of like pre-roll ads and then like ads showing up on your screen and shit like that. So this is a very, very simple solution. I'm surprised at how little power you have over control on it than it in terms of like how much timing you can have. I would have preferred more frequent but shorter like ad periods of like 15 to 30 seconds versus like say like a minute and a half to get rid of pre-rolls. You go to the stream, you see a pre-roll, you're out. Not gonna lie. Yeah, that's the main issue with them, right? The other issue too is that like if you just want to hop on to see what someone's doing really quickly, you have to wait for like 2 or 3 minutes to say hello and then bounce, and you don't even get to hear their response because of the pre-roll ads, right? And so this way, Jeff Bezos has given us the ability to kind of mitigate this by running an ad for like a minute and a half every single hour. Again, I kind of wish there was like smaller timing or more frequent timings or like 15 seconds or like 10 seconds every like half an hour or like something. But I mean, they have to make money, and so I'm not going to bemoan that necessarily. But welcome to the stream. Before you subscribe, please note these rules, these very interesting guidelines. If you can't just take the money and burn it in like a large like bonfire, you shouldn't be subscribing, right? I need to re-emphasize this now that we have the button. I'm a programmer, and I don't know how many people are out there who are programmers or like who know how much programmers make, but let me just show you what programmers make, right? This is just kind of, and this is not just for you, the people who are here. This is also going to be in like a video, so it's important for me to explain this. There's a great site about this called levels.fyi. Now, if you don't know, this is also the best way to find out if you're being underpaid, actually. So here, let me show you. This is the secret. There's an app for this? What do you mean there's an app for this? Wait, chat, there's an app for this. Who made an app for this? This is a website where you compare, like, how much money people make at different companies. There's an app for this. Why does everything have an app? Let's just check out the app. Chat, let's just check out the app. Get paid, not played. Okay, what is this app? Show me. I want you to know, this thing has 2 stars. This thing has 2 stars. Like at this point, you might as well just not even bother, right? Like you might as well just tell people, look, forget the app existed. Just start from scratch. Just demolish it, throw it away, start from scratch, and pretend like it never existed. because that's kind of a bad rating. But anyways, this app. The entire purpose of this app is to show you a graph. All right, this is. I don't know what the point of this is, and like the website is faster because you don't have to download. You just go to the website. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, I make six figures. I'm not even exaggerating. Like this is exactly how much money like an engineer or like a programmer makes. Okay, this is just at Microsoft. Okay, let's say you're in Toronto. Okay. Even if you work at a no-name shit company like IBM, or even if you work at like Home Depot, right? You're still making close to six figures, all right? I'm not saying this to flex on you. I'm saying this to be real about you, to be real to you about what it means in terms of like what you subscribe for. There's no reason for you to subscribe, and I like working anyways with my job, kind of, as long as it's with like a project that I don't care about, or that I like and that isn't annoying. So you don't have to sub. The sub is literally, if you were going to burn that $5, I'd rather you give that $5 to me or to someone else because we can probably make better use of it than it going into a literal bonfire, right? And I mean that in the sense of like, I can then use that to buy more stupid props for you to see more stupid things on like stream. Which is, I mean, I guess that's a better use than burning it on like fire. But again, there's no pressure. It's very important for me to set those guidelines. And as far as I can tell, I went through the affiliate terms and there's nothing actually stopping me in the terms and service, so should be okay. You literally got it for the badge. I mean, that's also a good thing in terms of like if you want the badge, sure. I mean, go for it. There's only 10 of them left. Well, 9 of them left now because somebody went in fast. But hey, I appreciate it. They don't have my job. They don't have your job. It's okay, chat. There's something interesting about software developer stuff. It's almost like an incestuous circle of like everyone like gooning in the same cave and like edging each other off. Like everyone's double fisting the two people beside them, right? They all love to talk about themselves and each other, and they love to hype up exactly what they feel like, and they like to hype up who they are, and they like to put themselves on a pedestal. And so this stuff is primarily geared only towards that. However, the IT side can also get paid very, very well too. The higher up you will go. But I remember being in IT at the lower levels. At the lower levels, it feels like grunt work. So I salute those in IT. I salute those in like other tech-related fields. I salute those in any other field. That's precisely why I don't want you to spend your money if you can't literally burn your $5. Right now, $6 actually. It's about $6 US, and in the Canadian, that's about $15, right? So if you can't burn that money and you would rather buy lunch, like if you had to choose of, hey, I have lunch money, but I'd rather give it to the streamer, don't do it. What's the point? Just go get yourself a nice lunch. I make six figures. I can buy lunch I can buy a lunch that's like 5 times the size of yours. Like it doesn't make any sense. Or say, I don't know, say you have like the $5 and it's like, and then you want to go and you want to, I don't know, what's an example? What do people buy for $5? Say you have $5 and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go to Walmart and I'm gonna buy a game from the discount game bin. Well, go ahead and buy it. I don't need the money, right? You only sub if you have like extra money to throw away and if you really, really want to. It was €5 and €4 and the other back to €5. Wait, you guys actually got scammed. Wait, actually no, you guys actually survived it then. Because here, it was always $5, at least in the States. I use States money because Canadian money and States money used to be very close in terms of like how they were tied in terms of the trajectory. Now the gap is widening, but that's a whole separate other discussion that I'm not qualified to say, so I'm not going to say much about it. I just know that some financial stuff that I read was like, the gap between the Canadian dollar and the US dollar is now widening because we no longer follow their trajectory, despite us following it for the last 20 years or 30 years. Anyways, the point that I'm getting at is that it's always been $5, so it's been an increase for everyone else. For you in the UK, it's safe. It's free. Wait, is that euros or pounds? What's the difference? Oh, you know what? I understand the difference. A euro has like a flatter E, and a pound has like a squiggly... It's almost like a droopy E, right? I can see it now. My eyes. I have special eyes. My brain. Euro. Yeah. See, it's not droopy. It's not droopy. That's it. How's it feel, chat? To know that your currency is just a lesser version of another more expensive currency. How's it feel? You get free lunch. You get free lunch, you'll have me know. That's actually good. I'm actually surprised that you get free lunch. I don't know why more people don't do this, or more companies don't. I remember reading a study of how like the amount of time that people spend like going to get lunch is like way more, and like the amount of money that they spend too is like way more compared to just providing it for yourself at like a company level. and then just building that into the value package, because then you like get time back in terms of like loyalty as well as like efficiency of time use, basically, in a sense of like, oh, like, you know, people are like there. What I found is that when you go to eat lunch on your own, people tend to form their own cliques, right? Like I had my own clique, and it was like, all right, only we're allowed to be here, right? But that's not what you really want from that kind of like in your company, right? Like you want everyone to be able to share with each other and almost like work with each other. It's a bit like the military in terms of how they force you to sleep together in the same rooms, but not that far. It's very similar. But yeah, even the general time savings, I remember reading studies of how it's like very, very good, because it's like you don't have to worry about people going off and eating and then taking like, you know, 20-30 minutes to like eat, and they get to hang out and chill inside the office, talk with each other. Maybe some people hate chilling in the office and talking with each other, but you know, it depends, right? At least they have a choice of going to eat in their own like silo somewhere, and then they have free lunch in the company, which builds loyalty and stuff. So I'm surprised that more places don't do that. You could also have free lunch if it's not your food and it's from somebody else's, like you're stealing it. He BJ's on the right. Wait, where? Where's the BJ's? BJ's Wholesale Club. Salary ranges from $97,000 dudes for marketing operations to a $245,000 for a data scientist. Well, their data scientists have been failing, because I've never heard of this business in my entire life. I know Walmart, and that's an American company. I don't know BJ's Wholesale Club. I feel like their data scientist and their marketing team is failing. So both of these roles are absolutely getting demolished in some way. You have infinite value. Up to six pounds at least. Lifts. Maybe we should get into software and engineering. I actually highly recommend it for everyone who is looking for like a career jump. I always recommend this first, okay? If you can't find your passion, that's okay. Go for the thing that makes you the most money, right? And then that aligns with your personal morals and like values, right? Like I will never do software engineering work for the military, because that doesn't really align with my values. But you can still make a lot of money doing it in like a public sector sense, right? And so it's like you might as well get into it, because it's also the easiest to get into because of this. Because of this. Harvard, baby. Harvard has a free class on software engineering called CS50. A very, very, very well-known, very, very, very highly praised course. I also found it to be very, very good as well, because I tried other ones. I even sat in classes when I did like reviews of like university courses or like college courses and stuff. And I also sat in the classes when my wife was trying to take some of it, as well as when my friends were taking it, as well as when my family members were taking it. This one, bar none, is like way better. May I put the link in Discord? Oh yeah, I forgot that I have a Discord. I use my Discord to tell you all that I'm late and not for anything else. Here, have this. You know what? Is it bad to stream my Discord? Probably not. Let's just stream my Discord. What's the worst that can happen, alright? Femboy socks. Here we go. Alright, here. How do I make this like larger font? Holy moly, perfect. Alright. Harvard's CS50 course. A highly praised and free computer science course for people to take. And okay, wait. You're lucky that I didn't give you permission to upload in this channel. And free computer science course for people to take. Highly recommend. I've sat down in other courses as review and as part of just hanging out with my close loved ones, and most courses charge you up the ass for nothing. This one is free and will get you up and running at the highest level with some of the smoothest teaching I've ever had or seen. I also took this myself, being a dropout and going into the industry, so I can vouch for its effectiveness. It's effectiveness. I have a monkey photo actually. Where's my monkey photo? Here, I'll give you Hobbleheim, chat. Here. For those of you who don't know, oh shit, I maybe should have put that inside the title. You can type Discord to join the Discord. We have a Discord channel. There's a lot of you who are still haven't joined yet because I know there's a lot of you early on who are asking, especially a long-time member, Lavita. They always asked, and I always told them it'll never happen. It'll never happen. And then one day they're gonna come back to the stream and be like, "Holy shit, you have a Discord finally! Check out my dog." It's gonna happen. Anyways, here is a Hobbleheim. Did I delete Hobbleheim? Okay, no, good. Anyways, yeah, that's the course. Highly recommend. Okay, so that's the monkey that took a selfie, and there was a big. Oh yeah, you're right. That is the legal dispute monkey. Oh my god, I forgot about him. So for context, this monkey here, this is the monkey. It was a huge thing. I think it was like, I'm pretty sure it was BBC Earth. And basically, they tried to monetize it or something, or they tried to make like an NFT out of it. And then they eventually ruled that actually nobody owns the copyright to this, and it's public domain. But also, it's like not ours; it's the monkeys or something. So like no one can like use it. So nobody can use this like photo in terms of like for like a commercial use. It's the monkey's paw of late game. It's a monkey's paw of capitalism, right? Animals are just animals, but what happens when the animal takes a selfie that you want to turn into an NFT? Well, you don't get to, because the animal is just an animal. That's the monkey's paw of animal rights. That's the monkey's paw of animal rights. You like him? I do like him too, actually. Again, think about this, okay? There's some interesting facts about monkeys. We've taught monkeys sign language, quote unquote. There's a lot of like discrepancies in how we taught them. Not necessarily like we didn't really teach them well. But they never asked us a question. So monkeys have no sense of self, or like monkeys have no sense of curiosity or like inquiry, as far as we know. But again, it's debated because we didn't really teach them sign language. We just taught them commands, kind of like a dog, right? What do you think the monkey was thinking when it took this photo? Like, why did it take this photo? What compelled the monkey to go, ah, yes, time for selfie? And who taught him how to take a selfie? Who? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. And the best part is, he took a really good selfie. It's actually insane. He took a crazy good selfie. Because like most people, when they take a selfie, it kind of looks like this. Here, we'll just copy this. GIMP. It's like an AI that it's like an AI and that it doesn't know what the words mean. It just kind of just puts them together in a way that humans react to. Precisely, yeah. That's exactly how monkeys treat sign language. Which is like, again, it's funny, but it's also kind of like how like dogs are, right? Like it's really kind of how like we are. Like, imagine if you if you say like a sentence, I don't know which sentence, but I've been told that there are certain sentences by other chat members that I always say the same things to, and so I sound like an AI. And also on YouTube, we had this actually. Somebody came in and then asked me, is this an AI? Where is it? Is this AI? Where's that photo? I still have that screenshot. Go, my screenshots folder is getting massive, chat. Here we go. Is this AI? On Rusty's retirement. So, you know, even people, right? Even humans have certain catchphrases that like activate like an AI neuron in your brain. And sometimes it just happens. Anyways, here's the monkey. Wow, that's a very large image. Maybe 4,000 by 4,000 wasn't actually good. Let's just crop the content. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now, what do we do? I don't know. What can we do? What do we do? Oh yeah. Here we go. This is what it usually looks like when people take like a selfie. That's usually what people look like when. That's usually what it looks like when people take a selfie. And then also, let's do like a linear motion blur. What's a linear motion blur? Oh, wait, that's perfect. Yeah. Here we go. Right? What's an emboss? Oh my god. Tickle him. Oh my god, that's terrifying. Yeah, he looks like he's like going fast now. But it does look terrifying in a way, yeah. What's another mosaic? What? Newsprint. What? Oh! I need to find like a good one. I don't know. You just want wind? Wind like bleed effect. What's this? Wind or blast? Why is there a blast option? There's a blast option. What does that mean? I don't know. I like this. Again, most selfies that people take look like this. This monkey just randomly out of nowhere, right? He just who gave the monkey a camera? This is the craziest part. I want to know like what BBC Earth photographer gave this like monkey a camera, and then how did they teach it to take a photo? At the same time, like when you see like gorillas and like monkeys like just like do stuff, you're like, yeah, we really were descended from them because of how similar we are in like capabilities besides language. Like aside from language, it's like the Tower of Babel only exists for like for humanity, right? But the monkeys, what they get in return is massive muscles and small pee. But yeah, all of this to say, yeah, just don't sub to me unless you really want to burn your money. Again, I will actually use this money for good uses. It will not go to nowhere. And it will actually lead to more things. I'm just sorry because right now, there's actually nothing for you as a subscriber. Because I got home last night. So I only actually got to, like, I signed the forms before I left. And then I had to leave immediately after. And I got home last night. So I couldn't do anything. So there's no emotes. There's no channel points. I mean, there's channel points. But it's like, there's no cool icon for it. I named it human beings for now. The prefix for the emotes is too long. It's like 5, like, let sheep viewers on. Oh god, wait. Is this when I start to get more like bots too? Ban. I think this is when I start to get more like bots too. But it's okay. I like banning people. It's fun. Wait, maybe we should add like a reason so people know. How do I add a reason? Here we go. Probably a bot, but I'm not really sure. I'm not gonna lie. Good. But yeah, just be warned. There's no content yet. I'll be uploading everything tonight. So I had a set of emotes actually that I wanted to set up for all of this. The problem is that I was also given another set of emotes by a fellow streamer, Athel. Unfortunately, I had a plan for emotes originally that I kind of have to stick to because I've already done most of the work for them. I just need to do the finishing touches tonight. And also because I promised all of you some very fun emotes that could be used anywhere and that would be combinable in some weird way. There's also no badges, there's no subscriber tier, whatever, like icons and like stuff yet. I need to finish those tonight as well, so again, sorry. But hey, the one perk that you do get is you get access to a very special secret Discord channel, which you probably saw. There's actually a bunch of secret Discord channels in the Discord that most of them are used for testing. Most of them are used as workarounds for Discord's lack of features, and other things are used for like other things. But now there's also a subscribe channel. There won't be many things that divide subscribers from non-subscribers, right? This is kind of like my ethos for this channel, is it doesn't matter whether or not you're a subscriber. I don't like you anyways. Yeah, but yeah, no, I seriously though, I just don't want to make too much of a divide, right? The only thing that you really will probably get is that you get to skip ads. But again, I don't need the money, and I'm never gonna call them out, like the subs, because again, I don't want to encourage you. My end game goal has always been this: convert your eyes into money. Okay, I'm gonna turn your eyes into money printers. You know those? When I was doing my contracting work, actually, one of the businesses that we had to like gut out and then redo from like scratch used to be a club, and in this club they had these like you know those money guns, the ones where you put like stacks of bills in and it flies out at like really fast speeds. They had those. So, and then no one wanted it because it's like it was going from a club into a respectable business, right? Like a restaurant. And so they were like, "Do you want this?" And I was like, "Oh heck yeah!" So I've got 2 guns now that can shoot money out of them. I don't use cash, so it's kind of useless. But I've been meaning to print out like fake money. But I've heard that if you print out fake money, you get caught by like the money people. So it, you know, YMV. What was it? What was I saying? What was I saying? There was something about subs. Something about subs. There's no divide. I don't want to divide between like normal viewers and thing. Oh yeah, but there will be more benefits eventually for subscribers at some point. But again, I won't call any of it out. It's just there. You don't need to do it. It's just there. That's why I don't advertise it. But if you want to, you can get the Founders Badge. You can get some really cool emotes. I'm really aiming to focus on the value in terms of like the chat experience, as well as like general priority on like other things. Like say you want to join in on some cool Discord events that we're doing, then maybe you'll get like priority access if it's like a limited slot kind of thing, right? Like a special event that was going to be doing next week. Is it? What day is it? Next week, the week of the 16th to the 22nd. We'll be doing some co-op gaming with the rest of the Discord members live on screen. So far, the votes are trending towards Jak and Daxter, which I'm kind of excited for. So Jak and Daxter seems to be the thing that people are going for, which is nice. I lied. Now it's Nightmare Cart. Okay, well, it's bouncing back and forth. Anyways, the reason why we're doing this is because of this. I posted this in the Discord as well, so you get like early access to cool things that I find. It's also nice because I used to have to keep these in like a different place to keep all the links, but now it's all here. So, okay, do this, do that, do that. Get in on this before it disappears. Okay, it's a bit like the Poke-Rogue thing, right? At some point, the lawyers are gonna come and they're gonna ruin the fun because lawyers only know how to do one thing, and that's the law. And if the law says no, they don't want to deal with it. This is open goal. Now, goal is an interesting term because it's, it's that thing that makes everyone go, so when they're watching soccer or like playing soccer. It's that thing that makes you, makes your, fellow family members break your TV at like a barbecue or something. But it's also a programming language. It's an acronym for game-oriented action Lisp or something. I think it was action. I don't know what the A stands for, actually. It's a language built off of Lisp that was made by Naughty Dogs, so of Uncharted and Last of Us fame. They've had this language for a long time. It was actually the first language it was actually the first thing that they made was this language in order to help support their game development stuff. So all of their early games were made with this language. The only reason they dropped it was because, and I remember that they had this interview somewhere, I think it's on Gamma Sutra, which I think they changed their name to GameDeveloper.net, because obviously you don't really want a site about game developers to be related to the Kama Sutra. Like, they already have a hard time with like optics, right? So, but the reason why they had to move off of it was because they couldn't find people to program in it. Lisp is a very old, ancient language. It's the thing that makes me sound so funny. It's also the thing that kind of underpins a lot of like other more complex languages in terms of like the theory behind how they created. It's a very experimental language in that sense, in the sense of like it does a lot of different things that are very unique to it. It was also one of the first languages to have like a real an REPL, which I completely forgot what the acronym stands for, but basically it's a thing where you type code and you can run it immediately in that same session without having to compile anything, because it's right at runtime. It just works, right? It's why actually very rarely you'll find Lisp as a scripting language, because you can just take the runtime or like the whole thing and just stick it into any other system, and you basically get a immediate sort of REPL, which just works. Now, this is all important context for what I'm going to get into, which is the fact that it's been revived. So again, they dropped it because no one knew it, and it's a very different language to learn. It doesn't really lead to many job opportunities, and so it naturally kind of like dwindled away. It's your professor's favorite language, alongside Clojure and Haskell or Haskell. I don't know. But it's being revived by the community because they wanted to port it over to PC in a native way, in a way that it would work. Because the language, for the most part, was only ever used on consoles, like the PS2. There was actually no PC port of it. It was made entirely for consoles. And it's actually interesting because it means that you can now run these games natively on PC, Jak and Daxter, as well as Crash Team Racing, which they've done. And so through this, what they've made is they've made a patch for Crash Team Racing that can then run pretty much natively on your machine. And so now you can play it online. Like, just online. It's basically Mario Kart, but like way cheaper because you can probably find it in like a Walmart bargain bin somewhere. And the online actually apparently works very, very well. And Crash Team Racing is honestly a bit more psychotic than Mario Kart because of how it plays. There's a lot more like craziness in that game that I found. It's like a much more aggressive version of Mario Kart where you're not here to make any friends. You're not playing with friends, right? You go. It's like Street Fighter. You go in a random lobby. You beat people. You beat other people up, and then you leave. That's it, right? That's your 9 to 5. As you go, you start trouble, and you leave. You're like a Street Fighter character, but with a car. Also, let me just pin this message very, very quickly, just in case, so people know about the whole thing about what is it? The donations or the subs. We have subs now. Don't sub unless you were going to burn the money anyways. Also, I need to post this in the Discord just so people know, just as they filter in. But not just Crash Team Racing was put it over, and not only this game was given an online component. That was a terrible sentence. Jak and Daxter is now fully multiplayer. This game is a single-player, like third-person action RPG. Well, it's not really action, but it's like an adventure RPG, right? I don't know how this game is going to go in a co-op setting where people just hang out together, okay? And also, as far as I could tell, there's like no limit on the number of players. So, I think you can go for as much as you want as long as you modify the code somewhat to like make it work and just take out the multiplayer limits. I don't know how well it's going to run because everything needs to be replicated across every single client because it's kind of a very basic system, and so I need to figure out a safe way for us to play it, but let's see. Have I seen the multi-game randomizer called Archipelago? No, I have not. Wait, Archipelago. That does sound interesting. Yeah, because most games have like a randomizer, but not multi-game. Also, another fun side effect of me seeing the ads now and the ad manager is I know when ads start. That was very fast. It's already been half an hour. But also, why is it half an hour? Every half an hour. Should be every hour, actually. I'll fix that right now, actually. But yeah, an ad's about to run now. So, goodbye, public viewers. In the meantime, let me fix that, actually. While we're doing this, wait, I'll look up Archipelago. When I was younger, I used to pronounce that Archipelago. Same with the quinoa. I used to pronounce it quinoa. And then I realized this entire time the character from Final Fantasy IX, from Final Fantasy IX, is a play on the word quinoa, but her name is Kina. I'm like, makes sense now. Because I always pronounce her name Quina. I'm like, god damn it. Anyways, let's see. I can probably do less. It should be like an ad every hour, actually. Oh, you know what? It's 3 minutes every hour. How do I just do it to be like, okay, like automatically, like 3 minutes every hour versus like an hour and a half every half an hour? Because that sounds silly. I don't know why they do that here. There we go. 3 minutes every 60 minutes. There we go. God. Save changes. There we go. That way the people can just filter in. Alright. Then, yeah, it's good. Nice. It's longer every hour, but it's like during that time. It's like after an hour, it's a much better stopping point versus like every half an hour. Every half an hour seems very disruptive to the general stream flow. Because otherwise, how do you do anything? Because nothing can be broken up into half-an-hour chunks, right? The truth is experiences are made for longer-term periods of like time, over like an hour, or 2 hours, or 3 hours. At least at the hour mark, you've gotten a lot of it to the point where it's like, you have an easy way to go into it. And plus you have the manual options for that. But still, it's fascinating, so see. You with epitome. Epitome. Yes, epitome. Yes. That was a huge one. Listen, English classes, teachers... How do I say this without being rude? Teachers know how to make you feel awful about yourself. The first time I ever pronounced epitome instead of class, and then my teacher said, it's epitome. Everyone laughed at me, and I was like, I'm never gonna read in class ever again! It's awful. And teachers do that, and they get paid to. Think about that. If you enjoy being like being a teacher is like being a more complex findom who has more responsibilities, right? Anyways, I'm very curious to see how this co-op mod goes. But again, there should be like unlimited players, but I think I need to modify the patch a little bit just because it's not entirely unlimited. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But either way, if you're interested in that, the week of the 16th to the 20 something, 16th to the 21st, there's a Discord event that I'm going to make involving those games. It might even be all three if we have time, but it's really in the order of priority of like which ones do people want to do first, and then everything else kind of happens afterwards. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time, and honestly, this is a very fascinating thing. Again, I didn't expect to hit this point so soon. I was totally waiting to hit this point a lot later. And let's check out this Archipelago. Acapili. Let's check out this Acapili randomizer. This is a cross-game modification system which randomizes different games and uses the result to build a single unified multiplayer game. Huh? Items from one game may be present in another, and you will need your fellow players to find items you need in their games to help you complete your own. That's interesting. What? So it's... Oh, I get it. So it's like a multiplayer... It's like being at the arcade if all the arcades were attached to a single server, and every single game accidentally put like an item into a different game ROM. That's exactly it. That's fascinating. Huh. Supported games. What games is it? Wow, this supports a lot actually. Holy shit. Factorial? What do you mean? What do you mean? How do you randomize Factorial without ruining it? If it ain't Brick. Oh boy, here he is. He's all bricked up again. Well, welcome, chat. We're checking out some fun game stuff. Some cool game stuff. Like this multi-game randomizer thing, which, as far as I can tell, changes like can put a mechanic in one game into a different game, which is interesting. You need to find it. You hide the tech tree in Pokeballs in Pokemon Emerald. There's a tech tree in what? What do you mean a tech tree? Pokemon Emerald tech tree. Emerald tech tree. Emerald's most common mons. If I search this, like nothing shows up. What do you mean tech tree? Oh, my bad. The Factorial. You hide the Factorial tech tree in another game entirely. That's interesting. I thought it was gonna be like you have no copper, and all the copper is in StarCraft 2. And if the person plays StarCraft 2 does not choose to go with Kerrigan and chooses to go with the other dude, you lose all the copper for the rest of your playthrough. I was like, oh god, that's gonna be awful. Is this the multiverse of gaming? That's what it seems like, yeah. So like different mechanics of different games show up in different games, and it's a multiplayer session. So like other people playing those games have to like find it for you, and so you have to find stuff for them and find stuff for you for your game. You need to Tunic. This is psychotic. This is actually evil. That's evil. If you've ever played Tunic, imagine one of the pieces of the golden path was just missing, and you have an incomplete image. Like I would go and say, no, that's Fortnite. We love Fortnite. We love Fortnite. Yeah, I haven't played Tunic before. Play Tunic first, yes. Every item in the game is randomized. All chests, hero relics, and other unique items. Ability shuffling is available. By the way, in this game, your abilities actually like hard lock you. If you don't get the red ability, you can't do anything. At least in Factorial, like if you don't have like a certain thing in your tech tree, it doesn't really matter. Like as long as you have walls and turrets, you can do anything, right? Entrances can also be randomized, shuffling the connections between every door teleporters that are in the game. Oh my god. Was the goal of Tunic when randomized? I don't know. The center goal is the same as the vanilla game. Find the 3 hexagon keys. Yeah. What's this whole thing called? Oh yeah, sorry. It's called the Archipelago. Archipelago multi-world, multi-game randomizer. Actually, I posted it inside the Discord too. Cat gave me this. I won't even explain. I'll just leave it. So how does it randomize Stardew? Oh my god. A vast number of objectives to Stardew Valley can be shuffled around the multi-world. Most of these are optional and the player can customize the experience. If they have a reward, the item will be instead an item in the multi-world. Oh my god. Dude, imagine not being able to complete the community center. I'd be so annoyed. That thing takes, because if you miss the month, right? You're just shit out of luck. StarCraft 2. The following unlocks are randomized as items. Your ability to build any non-worker unit. I would actually enjoy this. If somebody can find me my Actually, no. I don't know if I would enjoy this because I'm the type of person who like spams one unit, right? For Terrans, it's Marines. For Zerg, it's Zerglings. I know that you have to deal with anti-air at some point, but I don't really care. I just send Zerglings until the problem stops. For Protoss, it's Zealots because I love mispronouncing their like name as Zealots. Units upgrade small boost to your starting mineral on each mission. Okay. Huh. What about Final Fantasy makes sense, but Factorio. The research tree is shuffled in a non-standard order. Okay, well, what's there? So how else does this affect things? Click, 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 click. The greatest game of all time is a joke game. Castlevania 64. This is evil. I don't know if you ever played this, chat. I tried to play this as like a child after playing Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. And I was like, this game can't be that hard, right? Everyone says it's hard. And I tried it, and I almost cried. Like, genuinely. This game, by default, is like very frustrating to like play. Hollow, this is also evil. Randomization swaps around the locations of items. The items being swapped around are either chosen within your YAML. That's evil. But also, if you get like a really good item, then maybe it's good. If you get like an end game upgrade or something, I guess. Kingdom Hearts 2? No one plays Kingdom Hearts. A Link to the Past? By the way, A Link to the Past already has like a built-in 4-player co-op mode, which I've heard can be played online too, but I don't know how to set up. But I would like to do this at some point because it is fun too. All right, take your time. Okay, items will be moved around. Oh, logic remains. The Messenger in Minecraft. What? Some recipes are locked from being able to be crafted. Huh. You'd have all of these games downloaded to play a run of the Super Randomized thing? That's a good question. I actually have no clue. I imagine no, and that it probably... If I was making this, I would do it in such a way that it looks for what games you have and what games you've registered, and it only shuffles those things between those games. But I also, in typical programmer fashion, overestimate how good I am. No, just the one you want and the one your buddy has. Okay, good. We have confirmation from someone that I'm just gonna trust on face value. I'm just gonna trust you on face value. I have no way to prove it, so I'm just gonna say, alright, cool. Undertale! You can't swap between games to play solo. I guess you could, if you play like multiple games on your own computer. Well, yeah, just do it on your own, right? You need to do this on your own. I would want to see somebody do like a run of like StarCraft 2. Like a hard mode StarCraft 2 campaign, and they have to figure out how to do it while also bouncing between Factorio. Just be like absolutely awful. With a Witness. Oh my god, can you imagine if you do like a Witness run and StarCraft 2, and it's like your ability to solve these puzzles and like understand depends on if you're able to even like see like a line or something. A Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island would be actually amazing for StarCraft 2 because they're two completely different skill sets. The stream will have an OBS layout of 10 games on top of each other. I would love to see that. You would probably need some way to like zoom in and zoom out into each one, but that would be like a custom overlay thing. But actually, it's not that bad. You are able to hook on Windows into like which applications are currently active. And then you can also see when Alt-Tab happens, and you can see what a person selects from Alt-Tab. So you can do that, but that's too much work. You tested this with Minecraft and A Link to the Past. Two very slow games, I see. Now try to do it with StarCraft 2 and Yoshi's Island, buddy. Or Subnautica or something. Well, what's a fast-paced game here? Holy shit, wait, imagine Doom and StarCraft. I'd be okay. Or oh my god, imagine Risk of Rain and StarCraft 2. That'd be amazing. Risk of Rain is already a random game by virtue of being a roguelike. The Archipelago mod implements a pure multi-world functionality in which certain chests will send an item out to the multi-world. The items that would have been in those chests will be returned to the Risk of Rain player via grants by other players in other worlds. Huh. So... You steal my chests? Wait, so people steal your chests? I'd be so annoyed. You can steal? Imagine somebody stealing your legendary item. I'd be so annoyed. And your StarCraft 2 player like doesn't know what to do, and they're stuck on a mission. And it's like, dude, like I really need I really need the rockets right now. It's already in ha 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 difficulty. Wow. That's amazing. Actually amazing. Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire feels like it's too easy. Because it's just cards, right? Like, you don't even need, like, every card. Like, I could do a run of Slay the Spire in, like, 15 minutes. I could go all the way to the boss in 15 minutes. Undertale. Location checks. So they do that. When the player receives an item, well, what happens? They'll go into the inventory, and otherwise they wait. Victory is achieved when the player completes the chosen routes. Okay, spoilers. There's some major differences. There are now doors to every major area. Oh, so they actually mod the game itself, too. It's interesting. Hey, welcome. Wait, this is perfect. Since you're a mod here, I'm curious if, like, mods are exempt from the ads, so... Don't sub. Again, read the pinned message, please. Don't... Just read it carefully. I'm gonna give more details on, you know, what that means, but... Just be warned. And also... You do not get emotes yet or anything until tonight, because I didn't have that time. Wait, Wargroove. Every buildable unit in the game is shuffled, except for soldiers and dogs, which are free. But the Wargroove is like a Fire Emblem. Or sorry, like a what's that game? It's not like Fire Emblem. It's that other game that's like Fire Emblem. It's very similar to Fire Emblem. It involves like blue and red soldiers. Advance Wars. That's the one. Thank you. Mods are not. Oh, unfortunate. Emotes? Yeah, emotes. I mean, eventually. Tonight, when I'm not lazy and when I have time. Yeah, this is actually a very cool thing. I wonder if we could ever do this in the, as like a Discord thing. I imagine this would ruin us. I think if we tried this in the Discord, we would all go insane, right? Because, again, this would require coordination. We have people in, like, different time zones. Actually, I can show you my analytics. Well, I can't really show you all of it. But I can show you my like the time zones of the viewers. Okay, please don't use the preset emote. It looks so disgusting. It's just boring. The emote looks so bad, chat. Just don't use it. Emotes may eventually, soon, maybe. Tonight? Probably. Where's the analytics? Wait. Let me show you this. This is why I think playing games together in like the server is going to be impossible, okay? I want you to look at this list. Chat, you guys are everywhere. Everybody is everywhere. Research. Where's the tab that shows me where people are? There was a tab that showed me where people were. I was like, yo, you guys are from there? We have 8 people in Turkey. 3 people in somewhere. Where are the 3 people from? Where am I? Analytics. Here we go. Wait. No. God damn it! Where's like the people analytics? I want to know where the people are from. People research achievements. No research. No. What's that? No emo performance. Here we go. Views by location. SMH stick. You just doxed everyone. Oh no! Oh no! Now they know what continent you're on. The continents of chat. I don't remember seeing this before, so this may be new as part of the thing. But here, the continents of chat. I need to start naming these things better because my image folder is like massive. I can show this. It's fine. We have so okay. Well, the percentages don't mean anything, but because 1% of like no percent is nothing. Oh my god! I cut out the bottom 3. I'm so sorry. 3 people from Pakistan. 3 from Brazil. 3 from Australia. 4 from Hong Kong. There's actually a surprising amount of you from Hong Kong. 4 from France. I'm so sorry. I say the meanest things about France, but I live in Canada. And so it's like we're half French anyway. So, you know, does it really matter? We're just making fun of ourselves. 4 from Spain. Hong Kong has to be a bot farm. You would believe so. You would think so. But I'm pretty sure one of my viewers is actually from there. And I know for sure we have a couple of Brazilian viewers too who just look. 11 from Japan, which is also... Well, I know that we have a couple viewers from there too. 18 from Algeria. I didn't know I had such a large audience in Algeria. 19 from Turkey. 20 from Germany. 28 from Sweden. I actually have a lot of Swedish viewers. There's a lot of you Swedes in here, actually. Some of my original viewers were Swedes because I stream in your time zone. I stream in probably the worst time zone for like the Western audience, and I stream for a primarily Eastern audience. So it's fun. And it's also fun though because it's like I'm also like an Eastern person. You know what I mean? Like it's hey, 49 from the US, and the US is not the top. There's a lot of you from the UK. There's like 84 views. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna assume at the top end, the views don't correlate to the people. At the low end, I'm assuming that it kind of does, because it's so small. Anyways, it's usually like 1 or 2 or 3 people coming to check out the like stream and just coming consistently if they like it. Russia has 94. Canada has 100. So I am actually in deep with my fellow Canadians. This is a very impressive thing, okay? I didn't know that I could get in deep with my fellow Canadians, and the music is perfect for this. It's so inspirational. Hello, Canada. Hello. By the way, your registrations will all be reset when that thing is finally done on the site by the end of this week. So what day is it today? I've been gone for so long. Like, my wife and I are on like a wild schedule. We don't even like. My wife and I have no clue what day of the week it is. By the end of next week, by the end of next week, your registrations will be fully renewed, and we'll do. And you'll see how it looks like on the new site once I fix the site. Sorry, it's still dead. And when you see it, just good luck. Hope that you don't get something awful. Just hope that you don't get something awful. But yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. Again, please don't sub unless you are going to literally burn the $5. Again, my thinking is this: if you want to spend your $5 on lunch, but you'd rather give it to me, don't give it to me. Just go buy yourself lunch. Treat yourself. I'm a programmer. Again, I just showed you programmers make 6 figures. I'm living the life. I'm like the top 5%. There's no need to give me money. All right. If you do, it's appreciated, and it'll go towards stream. And eventually, you'll see like an investment breakdown of like where your investments are going to and what it results in. It's gonna be funny though, because like, unlike a company, it's not like, hey, we spent X amount of dollars on marketing and we got this much return. What you're gonna see on that report is, I spent this month's subs on all the Elite Danger ships, and there's nothing in return. I'm playing this game single player, right? And it's like, all right, cool, thanks, I guess. Not that I would, because Elite Dangerous is a scam, but, that's a whole different matter. Hey, man, can I borrow 10 bucks? No, I'm Scrooge McDuck. I'm Scrooge McDuck. By the way, I just want to show this. I don't know who did this. I don't know why you did this. Can I paste right into OBS? No. Scam. Platform views. I just want to show this because this is wild to me. I think I know who did it too because I vaguely remember them telling me this. Uh-oh. Somebody is watching on their like PS5. Somebody's watching on their like PS5 or their Xbox One or something, or maybe someone's watching on their Nintendo Switch. Like I don't know, but one of you out there is watching me on your console instead of playing the games on your console. This is a wild thing, but it all ties back to that discussion about what is the value proposition of a console. Well, it's a smart media device. And you know what's the smartest way to use a smart media device? It's to watch me. It's to watch me. Yeah. There's also 9 people watching on TV. Who the fuck watches Twitch on TV? And also how? How do you get it on your TV? My TV doesn't have it, and I want to. There's 62 views, so now we get into the views, because again, the top end is skewed towards like multiple sessions. 62 views on iOS. We have more Android users, which is disgusting. I'm just kidding. I actually love Android. And a good 50% of you are on web. Unlike YouTube, I can't see other statistics about you guys, which is actually fascinating. I know on YouTube you actually get like a bunch of different statistics, which is actually very, very strange. I'm very curious to see how this really works. Like on YouTube, I can see like everything. I can see where you're from, what times you sleep, what's your favorite like food. I can see your like full house address, and I'm like, okay, this is too much. Like, I don't need to know everything about my like viewers here. It's not like I'm gonna drop ship you like something straight to your home to like try to get you to like come back to my channel. Which car you drive, where you work, your mother's first and last name, maiden name, your height, what size pants you wear, everything. It's all there on YouTube, man. I love YouTube. Sorry, I just paused there. But today is not just a day of talking, okay? You know my policy on this channel. We do more than just talking. Do you know why? Because sometimes I need to pee, and sometimes I need a good break to pee, okay? I want to do this before the ads kick in as well, because we have about 6 minutes until the next ad break. Again, this is a great... I can't believe they don't offer this to, like, non-affiliate streamers. I feel like even a non-affiliate streamer would benefit from knowing when an ad is going to interrupt people. But I guess as a non-affiliate, you have no control, and so it just happens for everyone randomly. Because as far as I can tell, for me, it happens randomly. We're going to be playing some interesting things today. One, we're going to get to the word games in about an hour after we start this. Because there's one game that I want to play before that called Pox Nor, which is a... It feels a bit like Magic the... No, it's not Magic the Gathering. It feels a bit like a tactics game, where you, but also it has that collectathon style of like building your deck, kind of like Magic the Gathering, but you collect units. You collect living beings to use on the field of battle, versus like using them in like and putting them inside of a card pack or in like a jar or something. It's really a fun game, and I've wanted to try this for a while because I remember playing this game as a wee lad a long time ago. I'm curious to see if this game still works, but apparently the game is still popular. Although they have sold and changed like owner hands quite a few times, so we'll see how far they get. But we'll only be playing for like an hour before we jump into Cryptmaster. I've been having a hankering for reading games because we're starting the book club soon. By the way, the book club, I'm finalizing it by tomorrow or Saturday. I'm waiting on one more email to make sure I can do one more thing to see if I can help you save some money. But I don't know if it actually saves you money or if it makes me money only, so we'll have to see how it goes. But hopefully I find a way to save you guys money on the books, should you choose to buy them. I'm not going to endorse anything. Any event that I run in the channel, the general assumption is that you do it legally, but I can't enforce that. And I don't know, so don't tell me. Just don't tell me, otherwise I become legally liable. Before all of that, though, I thought of something interesting. You know what would be great for word games? Is if we had a song for today. Songs that fit the mood of word games. For you see, there's something interesting about word games in general, right? The power of a word game is that it's about the words that they write and the meaning behind them. And I thought, what better song than a rap song? That's right, Chad. A rap song. This song is one of my personal favorites. And it's going to be very, very intense because, again, it's a song that I used to be a very, very different person when I was younger. Let's just say I used to be very, 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 very. My wife says I was cool, but I'm like, I don't know if I was cool, honey. I just think I was like, wild. But I think you're gonna like this because honestly, it's kind of a banger song. It's by a group called Higher Brothers. Which got really popular off of the 88 Rising brand. So 88 Rising, 88. I need to emphasize here the double eight. It's an Asian music group, and so the eights are in the context of like Asian language, and the eights in like Chinese specifically, it represents like luck. Okay, it's not the other 88. I found out there's a different connotation for 88, and I'm sorry. I'm not the person who made the group. I didn't do it. All right, I didn't do it. The song is called Made in China, which is actually, it's hilarious what the song is called like, but I really like the lyrics in it because of how good they are at just like this idea of like what does it mean to have something made in like China, and then how much they like play off of that as their concept for their entire song, and how they make it a point of pride, right? It's a very interesting song in that regard. Are we making bars? Yeah. We're making bars. And you know what? For you, chat, you get this link. Wait, do I get to send multiple pin messages now? Okay, well, that's a disgusting link. Sure, whatever. That's a disgusting link. Okay, not 208 minutes, all right? And I play the one that isn't the music video, but that's also still on their official channel. Please enjoy. Again, this is a very hardcore song, made in China by Higher Brothers. And you don't really need to understand all the words. Even I only understand some of the words. The rest I had to get through like a translation. But the main chorus and the main idea of it being around like everything's made in China, and then like that like the hilarious comedy behind that like statement of like she said that she didn't love me, but she lied because everything that she has is made in like China. Um, that's a funny statement to me, but it's also like it's so true. And then at the same time, it's like it's that song is about like a sense of like pride of like yeah, everything that they make like everybody has, right? It's kind of like it's almost like a commentary on like how like China itself has become like the global production powerhouse for every product that we use in like a day-to-day basis, right? And that is a point of pride for like them in terms of like they're able to have all these skills and these talents to like build these things. There were also some other Twitter videos that I was going to show you, but I couldn't rip them. So I'll show you them next time. But my God, there were some funny Twitter videos of like these companies making a very, very interesting rap slogans. You know those like old corporate songs of like Home Depot, I don't know, get your wood here, right? It's like it's like that, but for like a company that like it makes like portable homes that can be built like a Lego block. And so the quality is like awful compared to this. This song is kind of a banger, actually, in my opinion. Again, that was made by Higher Brothers, featuring another artist named Famous Dex. Their whole album, that album was from 2017, Black Cab. That album is full of bangers, actually. Their first song, WeChat, on that album is also really, really good. They did a collaboration with the Korean artist Keith Ape, which you may recognize from Ichima, which is also very, very interesting in terms of like what that song sounds like. As well as their other songs on the album are like great. Their last song, which I always forget the name of, but it's still really, really good. It's fascinating to sort of see rap being done in like a different language besides English. Because again, I'm bilingual, and I didn't learn a language off of another language. When you're bilingual from a young age, you learn both languages almost in isolation, with no relation to each other, and so you get this like sense of knowledge that is unique to what it feels like to be a native speaker in like both, where you can't translate any of it, and where you don't really know what things mean. You just know how they're used and what they sound like and like what they are, and then trying to like turn that into like a jumping point for other languages requires you to understand your language first, and then figure out what the other words that mean that are in the opposite language. What's the other language I speak? Primarily Vietnamese. I know a very small amount of Chinese, specifically Cantonese. Also, the ad starting, so goodbye. I love that so much. I actually love that so much. The fact that I can say the ad starting, goodbye. Again, it's funny that happens. But yeah, I know quite a few languages, and so the people who aren't subbed will wait for them to catch up. Because again, I feel kind of bad about people not being able to see it. But now that I have control over it, we can now provide kind of a different experience. Instead, I can tell you some secrets. Yes, I actually know quite a few languages, but on a very small level. Chat. This is only for you, subscribers. Not even my mod gets to see this, because apparently my mod gets nothing, which is funny. But hey, that's just the way it goes. I know Vietnamese primarily. I know a bit of Canto. Very, very small amounts. I know English, obviously. I mean, I'm basically native in English and Vietnamese. I also know quite a bit of French, even though my French is kind of awful. My French has been compared to a fifth grader's French. So when I speak French, the people who like hear me, they're like, "Wow, you sound like a fifth grader trying to like speak." My Vietnamese used to be at like a very low level as well, just because I hadn't used it in so long, and I spent like time like catching up on it. It's like I could understand it when people said it. I understood when people wrote it. I understood when people would like do anything with it. I just couldn't say the words myself because my tongue was like. You need like a certain tongue structure to like do that, to like do the language well. That I didn't really have because you can hear my like struggles with speaking English as is, right? So it's kind of hard. It takes practice. Other than that, I actually know no other languages in like a usable form. I actually can do like very, very small, short conversations in like French. But in terms of the basics of like what they teach you in like French class, so like, ça va, and then I can be like, oh, comme ci, comme ça, or ça va bien, or ça va mal. But like my favorite though is Comme Si Comme Ça because again it's basically it sounds like nonsense, but it's like I'm okay, I'm so. And every French class in Canada always teaches this. Every single French class outside of Quebec, I'm pretty sure because Quebec has more integration, and so you know French from when you're born. But outside of the entirety of Quebec, the French classes always start off with, "What is your name?" Je m'appelle Stick. How do you feel? Ça va, and then you say, "Oh, I feel great." Ça va bien. I feel bad. Ça va mal. And then you also, and then, or you might say, "I'm okay. I'm just so." Comme si, comme ça, right? We learned a lot of swear words, not because of the teacher, but because we just learned it. Like, oh God, what was that? Fuck. Merde, merde. That one's my favorite. Like just saying that, like that's the best sign of frustration. If you ever work with a French person and they say merde, merde, then you know you fucked up. You know you fucked up, and you really, really, really don't want to mess up with a French person. Again, my accent's very, very bad, so it's awful. But yeah, Vietnamese, French, English primarily. But hearing rap in like other languages besides English, you notice that the way that they do it is very, very different, right? Vietnamese and other tonal languages, it I have never been able to find the secret sauce to it, and it seems like the industry as a whole hasn't found the secret sauce to it either. You can see, depending on how they do it, they can remove the tonality from the language entirely. So, for instance, in that song "Made in China," the tonality of the words almost like was muted down to very little small flares that you could hear that changes the meaning. Because again, if you have the wrong tone, it's a completely different word. And this gets even more in Vietnamese, where there's only like 40,000 words compared to English's 170,000, roughly, like officially recognized dictionary words, right? So your tone can change the meaning of like a sentence entirely. Um, uh, 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 the best example that I still have is like cup, right? The word for cup and the word for wisdom is the exact same thing. It's literally the same word. The difference is the tone and thus the accent. Lei is a cup. Lei means wisdom, means you're wise. Lei means you're rude. So within the same sentence, you could either insult someone, praise them, or call them an object. Like there's no in between. But you see that how they work around that in tonal languages is again that muting of the tones, bringing the tone back when it matters, and you heard it there, like especially during the like very hardcore sort of like rap chorus, you could hear them going up and down to sort of like bring back the tones that mattered to inject the meaning back into the word where there would be ambiguity. It's very very tough to do, but when you do it well, it sounds very very pleasing because it lends like an almost further mechanic. It's like new tech that rappers can like use, right? Because you have like cadence, you have like flow, you have like the words that you speak and the way that it's written, right? So like Eminem is like probably the most well-known example, but also he's actually very good at it too. His sentences, the way that they rhyme across the entire song are very complex. You have rhymes that are uh, related to different parts of like words in the middle of like sentences where the meaning of the word is related to like, a middle part of a word as like well of a multi-syllable word, and even the way that he flows and the way that his like cadence is, it's very dynamic and it sounds very very good too. Then you with a tonal language you will get even further, and now you have different tones that can go into it too, and so you can almost like play with the structure and rhyme with the tones as well. Put in some Vit rap. You bet it goes hard. It does go hard. And I do have a Vit rap for when we move on to Cryptmaster to sort of like calm things down because it's a very interesting. It's a surprisingly calm game despite the gameplay loop being hectic. But I'm saving that for the next sort of like step when we get there because there's also some very good Vit rap too. Again, there's very good rap anywhere. But yeah, it's fascinating to sort of see how rap is being done in tonal languages. It's still a very new niche IMO, right? And it you definitely feel it. And I read a comment on Reddit once that was like so good that explained why it's so interesting as well to see the rap scene sort of like now blossoming. In the United States, you had East Coast versus West Coast. In Vietnam, historically you had, North Vietnam and South Vietnam, right? It's like, yeah, like it's gonna change the context of what this rap is like writing about, and it's gonna change how it sounds. And fun fact, for a long time actually in Vietnam, a lot of the music was like felt very propaganda like. It was very much about like what it's like to live in like a communist society. I'm not even kidding you. This was like the quote unquote like state sponsored sort of like popular music. It was a very interesting time. Nowadays, obviously not for the last like 20 years or so. It hasn't been like that for like a long time. But for like a while after everything that like happened, it was like that. And you see this again in like different places too. Rap in like China talks about very different things. Obviously, I mean that one, I mean you like heard it. It's about this idea of like things made in China. It's a whole different context, right? And it's fascinating to see the lyrical content that makes it into these songs because we now get to see sort of like the context and the history of these places being output in the form of like music, right? And I'm sure every Vietnamese child knows about Paris by Night, and sort of like the very very heavy tones of like the war within a lot of the songs. But also one of the most banger songs during that time period was a song about a dude who lost his money gambling. So I'm like pretty good, you know what I mean? Like it's you have everything. The music is very very dynamic, very diverse. And there's a lot of it to go around. But I can go on and on about music for a long time. I really enjoy rap. I really enjoy. I mean, you know my eclectic music taste. We played like jazz. We played rap. We played basically every genre under the song. I played like joke songs. I played pop songs. I played like Eurobeat songs. I played like random, like Vai di shai di hu di vey, something like that, like a weird like folk song. I played a bunch of things, and I like all of them because music is fascinating. Music is cool. Music is very very nice. But I can go on and on about this forever, and I really don't want to because it's going to take more and more time out of this. However, today will be a longer stream because I'm experimenting with some things. It depends on how long we can go, and energy wise versus free time wise. My God, you were a super Eurobeat nerd at some point. I mean, again, it's because Eurobeat sounds so good sometimes, and some of the remixes are insane. Like, look, okay. I always love listening to this Eurobeat mix, always, or like this like remix of like a Eurobeat song. Fuck. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, wrong song. Which is dangerous, but I'm past that level where it's like stupid egoism or like egotism and more actual like I can back up with like skills, right? Even in an empty parking lot, like even if you would want to do it in an empty parking lot, there's so many variables to think about because it's only empty up until someone pulls in, and it's also only empty until the cops find you because again it's illegal to like do so, right? Ideally, you go to a racing track. They have everything for you, where even if you crash, you won't die. This is the key, okay? In a drifting course or a racing track, even if you crash, you won't die. Because the walls are designed to be bumped into. In public, walls are not designed to be bumped into. So if you bump your car into it, the wall is going to win. 100% of the time. In a drifting course or like a racetrack, the wall is designed to be bumped into. AKA, your car will win up to a certain point, but it will slowly start to lose so as to distribute the force away from your body into the surrounding structure, and it will crumple correctly in order to prevent you from dying. It's also very, very important too, because it's like, you know those like surprisingly deep song for the lyrics? Again, I can't really translate this, and again, I'll get into why. Just because translation is a very different skill set, and also because words, when you're a native speaker in a language, it's hard to figure out how to translate it without prior experience. Like it's almost like an entirely. I'll get into it. For now, just listen to it. This is Comtic, which is like I Don't Like This by Low G.
Đến chưa?
Ok, muốn ngang vào nhà em.
Sẵn sàng nào.
Ok.
Và tao không thích rap về chuyện kiếm tiền, vì tao không thích rap về chuyện hiển nhiên,
Và tao không thích rap về chuyện công việc, vì thằng nào chả phải lo công việc đầu tiên. Và tao không thích viết về chuyện cố gắng, tao cũng không viết về anh em đi lên. Và tao không thích viết về chuyện đam mê từ con số 0, vì đối với tao câu chuyện đấy hơi sến. Vì nếu mày thực sự là người cố gắng, mày sẽ thấy việc cố gắng nó khá mệt mỏi. Tao nghiện việc và ám ảnh cố gắng, đến mức hết cả việc xong tao vẫn làm việc căng. Nên tao thích ra trà đá để thoát khỏi nó, nghe thằng Chí sủa xong làm đi lào to. Câu chuyện nỗ lực quá cliché, tao không cần thứ đó. Bọn tao chỉ muốn rap dở hơi cho bớt đi phiền lo. Và tao không thích rap về chuyện kiếm tiền, vì tao không thích rap về chuyện hiển nhiên. Và tao không thích rap về chuyện công việc, vì thằng nào chả phải lo công việc đầu tiên. Và tao không thích viết về chuyện cố gắng, tao cũng không viết về anh em đi lên. Và tao không thích viết về chuyện đam mê từ con số 0, vì đối với tao câu chuyện đấy hơi sến. Mẹ tao bảo với tao, nhạc phải hướng đến chân mỹ thiện, còn Origin nói rap phải truyền tải thông điệp. Tao tôn trọng họ, đồng ý những thứ đó đều đúng, nhưng cũng không có nghĩa là những thứ khác đều sai. Nếu vậy thì sao, nghe bé Cường anh em cứ cười mãi. Còn 5CT để 9X hút pin dài dài, chỉ là giải trí mọi người vui, ai không hiểu thì tức. Mày gọi là rác nhưng tao gọi đầy năng lượng tích cực. Và tin tao, ai cũng có một phần dở hơi trong mình, ai cũng có một phần trẻ trâu vẫn còn ở trong đó. Và kể cả người có học thức hay là người thông minh, cũng thỉnh thoảng muốn vứt não đi để nổi loạn vô lo. Nên tao thấy vui khi tao viết, tao làm tao tự cười. Punchline không giống ai, luôn xớp lúc còn tươi. Tao đã chọn sống với anh em giống như một người hiền, để tao được làm nhạc trên mai giống như một người điên. Nên tao không thích rap về chuyện kiếm tiền, vì vốn chuyện đấy nó là việc hiển nhiên. Và tao không thích rap về chuyện công việc, nghe nó quá nghiêm túc, tao thì chỉ muốn chiến. Và tao không thích viết về chuyện cố gắng, ai cũng rap cố gắng thì ai cũng như nhau. Và tao không thích viết đam mê từ số 0, vì tao đã trải qua chuyện đấy, đấy là câu chuyện riêng của cuộc sống. Tao rời trường quay, bỏ khăn và bỏ mũ, tao bỏ con grill trên răng, bỏ đôi AF vào trong tủ. Tao tắt tạm wifi, xỏ dép tông mọc còn đùi hoa, đeo găng vào rửa bát sau khi tao ăn cơm với nhà. Và bố tao hiểu là kể cả tao nổi tiếng thì tao vẫn là tao, vẫn đi cọ toilet và dọn nhà. Tao mua thêm máy lọc khí, tivi mới, robot hút bụi nhiều tiền, nhưng vẫn không bù được thời gian công việc đẩy tao ra. Và thằng em tao buôn đồ một ngày bằng tao rap một tháng. Tao bắt nó phải bỏ sớm, nó cần tương lai đàng hoàng. Viết đến đây mới nhớ ra cần phải bảo dương phim, để anh góp tiền cao học cho em, không muốn mình em khan. Và tao chỉ cần mua mỗi con BMW nếu tao giàu, để tiền còn lại khao anh em ăn em chưa dán cùng nhau. Mày có thể ghét Logi khi nhạc tao quá mới, nhưng đố mày ghét được Nguyễn Hoàng Long khi gặp tao ngoài đời. Khi tao ngồi xuống nói về chuyện công việc, nhiều điều thú vị ngoài những điều hiển nhiên. Ta có thể nói về chuyện kiếm tiền, tiền không phải tất cả nhưng cũng là chuyện phiếm. Và ta cũng có thể nói về chuyện cố gắng, hồi mà đam mê là thế giới màu hồng. Nhưng tao chọn flex để được làm nghệ thuật, vì tao vui với nó, mày cũng hiểu đúng không?
I really, really enjoy that song. I really, really enjoy it. That song, I think it's very easy to sort of hear how tonal languages affect the structure and like the general cadence and the flow of like rap, because it's again, how do you rhyme like tonality, right? You can kind of hear it in the way that he like goes through the verses. A lot of the verses as they follow up, you don't even need to understand the language. As long as you understand sound, you hear the tonality almost like rhyming with the previous bit of tonality, and the way it kind of like flows, right? And again, that tonality is important because it determines the meaning of the words itself. You see the same technique that even Higher Brothers use, right? Again, you see a lot of the same techniques across these different rap songs, and they're experimenting with it. It's a very experimental space in the way that they remove the tones where they can in order to provide like a smoother delivery and make it a bit easier, but then they dip back into the tones when they need to for like flair, right? And you have that. And then you also have the more extreme version of like, you know, what is like a tonal rap from the Vietnamese Gunna. Sorry, I keep stuttering on that sound. Now this guy is famous. I'm pretty sure you've like heard this on like TikTok.
Căn nhà chân mây lá làm sao có giá được trăm cây vàng nè.
That is like, that's a more extreme version of like how they use tonality all the way through in order to sort of like provide almost like an interesting sing-songy element to their rap words. It's a very, very interesting flair when you get more and more advanced with like how you mix tonality into the lyrics of your songs. Both of you that think I use TikTok, welcome, long time viewer and also fellow streamer. If I'm gone Saturday, be sure to go watch Habisaurus as well. Welcome. I used to use TikTok. Remember when I had a TikTok account before it got demolished by the algorithm? I swear to God, it was just a genetically modified banana. They didn't believe me.
Có mấy lời bay lá, có anh thiếp bay ngay cho chàng nè. Về thưa ba thưa má mà vui quá xa nếu anh cưới nàng nè.
That's a very, very bold example of like how to like implement tonality in its full form within like a rap song, right? Again, Vietnamese Gunna is like the way to find him. His name isn't the Vietnamese Gunna. It's just that's just a nickname that they made for him because he has the same kind of flow. Hey, Rydex, welcome back. Long time no see. You're a Reels guy. Hey, another Reels person. Honestly, Instagram Reels do actually go kind of crazy. I think Instagram Reels are very, very fascinating with like how they are. It has a very different vibe from TikTok. I think TikTok is like the more like chaotic, crazy Zoomer energy. Instagram Reels feels like millennials trying to hold on to the final grasp, their dying grasp of a youth. I say that as a millennial.
Có mấy lời bay lá, có ơi.
That ending part I actually really enjoyed. I just wanted to play that for you to like hear, just because of like to see how this like sounds like, right? Your main Twitch account finally unbanned. I know. I'm surprised that took so like long too. Do you want me to move the VIP over or like no? I guess it doesn't really matter because they're both technically you. But I mean, I guess realistically, you're probably going to stick with only one. So, but welcome. Nice to see you on your main account again. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, we were just talking about some music as we transition to the next game because we just finished Pox Nor, a very slow-paced strategy game. We're gonna move on to word games. This is why we're playing rap today. Okay, it's why rap is such a huge element of today's stream, because rap, it's like spoken poetry on like to the max, right? It's a very, very complex art form that can go very, very simply. Like, I mean, you've heard some rap songs that are very, very simple, which don't sound very, very like, you know, complex in their wordplay. And then you hear other songs where it's like you need to really like dissect every single word to understand the layered meanings, right? Again, there's whole videos of like, you know, Jay-Z songs or Lil Wayne songs. Lil Wayne is a disgustingly good rapper. If he gets into it, like he's disgustingly good. There's, you know, breakdowns of like Eminem songs, right? Like if you break it down, it's very interesting, right? But it's why that's such a big element of today's stream. I also wanted to show you actually how to type these accents because I don't think many people know about how to type these accents. In this writing system, so it's a system called Telex. I don't know why they call it Telex. I think the history was that it's based off of like the actual Telex system, which used to be like a system that people used to use. Okay, the idea behind Telex is that you would just because your keyboard doesn't have these letters, right? You like most people only have like a QWERTY keyboard, and the keyboard was like made for like a Western audience, and like it's not like there's a Vietnamese specific keyboard, and so what they kind of made was like a software integration that you can just get onto your computer as well that has a standard way of typing that allows you to convert letters if you type it after certain letters into different accents. So you actually see an example over here. If you type TAAJP, you get this. You get these like very interesting accents. You get the little hat as well as the little dot underneath, and you can do this for like any word, right? This is how you primarily type in like accented languages. I think for Chinese it's similar the way that you write this typing system, but obviously every language has their own different type of like input method and like input chords. This is basically like a chorded writing system. Obviously it's a bit more complicated because like you gotta deal with like a bunch more stuff. For instance, in like Chinese, you can like layer different letters together to make like whole new words, and so it's like you change the meaning, and so you have to like know which one's the layer on top of the other from like a base set of like things. And so it's also complicated there. Like it's complicated whether or not you have the scribbles with like extra scribbles or the scribbles with like lines. But either way, English speakers have it easy because when I just want to type hello, it's like this. Only speak Viet for the next 3 minutes. You know what? Okay, so this is the thing about translation that I wanted to like talk about. When you're bilingual, I'm sure everyone who's bilingual has this issue. You can't switch on demand, or like if you do, then you're also really good at translating, right? If you're bad at translating into your native language, it's really really hard to switch on demand, and it's really really hard to even like figure out how to translate something. It's almost like the words that you know the words meaning in intuitively in your own language, but you can't actually figure out how to translate that and thus find the equivalent in the other language, right? And so switching between the two becomes very 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 complicated. For me, I cannot speak right now in Vietnamese unless I change my context. Like my mind literally just can't do it. So true, can't confirm. You think some words are just not translatable? There's an element of that too. So there's two sides of it, right? There's the element where some words you literally can't translate, like l'esprit d'escalier in like French, right? The spirit of the stairs, and that's not even like that's a fairly accurate translation, but the meaning is like lost entirely, right? And yet that phrase kind of like works. That's a more complex one because it's a full phrase. But there's a word in Japanese that's like the feeling of like something as like the spring, autumn, and the summer winds or something, right? And it's like a single word, and you can't translate that without going into a full sentence, right? You're alert today. No worries. Either way, I appreciate it, and trust me, there's no pressure to be active as long as everyone's like chill. But there's another element of multilingual translation as well, where the word has a translation, but because you've never encountered the idea of like having to know that word in a different context, you don't know the translation even though you know both words. Let me explain. In Vietnamese, there's a word that means that you're sick of things, right? It's the same as in English. Like you're sick of work, you're sick of this food, you don't want to eat this food anymore. You're sick of doing this like thing, right? You're nyang of it. Nyang. The problem is that if you grew up bilingual, you learn those words separately in their own native context, and you don't actually know the overlap. It's not until you sit down and you think really hard about as you go, oh yeah, I guess that could be the word, and then you form that connection, right? But for a long time, my sister and I had a huge problem where we just couldn't figure out how to translate that feeling of being sick of something, right? And so very often when we're speaking in like like a home context, we would just use the Vietnamese word because for us that's the most natural way of expressing that feeling of like being sick of something. Like I'm so nyang of this. But the truth is, you could also say that I'm so sick of this, right? Like that same sort of like emphasis. But for us, in a native context, us saying that we're nyang of it felt stronger than saying that we're sick of it. In a weird way, and even the word itself, it has a stronger connotation than necessarily being sick of something. And it's hard to it's hard to describe that, even though saying you're sick of something, the way you say it can change the intensity of it too, right? So there's there's two elements of it, right? One is there's words that can't be translated very very easily or at all, and so you end up with a word of like Hoshimoto, where it like means like, oh, the summer winds blowing down, and then you feel it breezing through your ball sack, right? Like it's like holy shit, like that's not a word, like that's a whole sentence, right? But in Japanese, it might be one single word. That's a made up. That was a made up example, by the way. Then you have the other scenario that I just talked about, which is the word does have a parallel within the language that you're trying to translate to. But because if you grow up as like a native bilingual and you learn both languages in their own context, it takes effort to actually form the links between the words. It's very hard to explain to a non-native bilingual because it's a bit like trying to explain. You know what? The easiest way to understand, if you only know one language, let's say English, right? Explain to me what "the" means. Like, what does it mean? And then you try to think about it, but it's like you don't know what it really means unless you take like a very hardcore like English class. Like you actually like there's a whole like rule set around the word "the" that like makes sense and like the meaning makes sense. But you only know how to use it. You only intuitively understand it. It's native to you. It's not something that you can actually pull the meaning out of and thus find an equivalent in other languages. It's not something that you can do on a whim. Even if you know these two languages, you don't even necessarily know the meaning. You just know what it means. You know intuitively what it is. It's a very weird concept with like language, and there's a whole science behind it because of how we sort of like learn language as like when we're young and as we move through the world. But it's a very interesting topic to get into. But yeah, it's why I can't even translate that Vietnamese rap song that we just saw, because again, I don't even like I haven't even formed the connections between those words and the English words. It took me a moment to even think about what that name could be translated into in like English, and I had to do that last night as like a thing beforehand, and I had to think really hard of like, what could this translate into? You're gonna use that word despite not speaking Viet. It's a really good word to say because the way you say it too feels powerful. Like, I'm so nyang of this. It's like, I don't want to do this, man. Like, every day you get spaghetti. And then on the 15th day, you get spaghetti again. The same meatballs, the same noodles, and no onions this time, too. And you're like, I'm so fucking yang of this, dude. You see, and you throw the plate against the window and it shatters. What do you have? Nothing. It feels like a filler word. See, it feels like a filler word, but at the same time, you know it intuitively. Like, you know how to use it almost. Like, it is second nature to you. And yet, because of that ambiguity, because of the fact that there's no like definition that you can point to, you can't like you can't use it. Like, you can't actually like translate it into anything. Like, you can't just like define it because you don't know the formal definition of it. And so there's no way for you to like actually translate it. That's exactly what it feels like to know two languages, to know multiple languages at a native level. And it's very different from learning like a language as from the reference of like another language. Like, learning Japanese from your English and learning that by translating the words over is very different from just knowing the language and learning it. And I don't know how to explain it other than like it's weird. It's a very weird thing. I mean, isn't the just a way to be specific? But that's the thing, right? It's just a way to be specific. But what does that mean in terms of like the definition of the word, right? Because that's a method. Because that feels more like a method to use it and not the definition of the word. And so it's like, well, what is it necessarily? And then how do you translate that concept? Like, how do you translate the concept of specificity over into another language? It's like, well, what does it mean? Some languages don't even have specificity necessarily, right? Like, it's like very strange. I'm sure there has a place in the dictionary. See, in the dictionary. Personally, you would never be nyang of that. Honestly, yeah, I wouldn't either. I'm a fiend for spaghetti. I actually really enjoy the noodles, the tomato sauce. Tomato sauce makes anything taste good. Okay, anything. However, that's also an interesting point of like how you spelled it. It's actually spelled differently, and I don't even remember the spelling. So I mean, my spelling is like way worse than my actual like reading, which is weird. I can read the words, but I can't spell the words because I read the words naturally in the way that I would say it. And so I'm better at speaking and reading it than I am in like writing it. So yeah, sorry, no worries. No. I was just pointing it out in terms of like, it's fascinating to see the writing systems sort of like use different sounds for like different things too. You don't have to express specifically with words like this, that, etc., even if you don't have a definite article. Well, that's the thing, right? Then you gotta figure out how to translate that across different language boundaries. And that's when it gets complicated. It's like, oh man, like what do you even do? I hate language so much, and I love it at the same time. Now, unfortunately for all of you, because I'm now an affiliate, and again, please, oh god, don't sub. Well, okay, this is just a reminder. I'm an affiliate now. Don't sub unless you were literally gonna burn the money, because I'd rather you use the money on yourself. Even if the money that you were going to spend on yourself was just to buy lunch, and you think, oh, instead of buying lunch, I'll sub to this guy. I'm a software developer. I make 6 figures. You don't need to give me money. It's fine, okay? Spend the money on yourself, but also because there are no emotes, so you get nothing yet. So like literally, there's nothing yet until tonight. Tomorrow's stream, you'll have more fun things to play with. But tonight, I didn't have to have a time. Sorry. But just be careful. Don't like think about that very hard. Think about the value that you get, and think about that if you need the money or if you want the money for yourself, and if you wouldn't take that $5 bill and literally burn it like in front of your face, and you would feel no hesitation, and you would just do it for like fun. Give the money to me because then I would be like a Robin Hood, right? Steal from the rich, give to the hoi polloi, okay? But one thing about being an affiliate that I now know is that I can see when the ads are coming, and so in just a moment, you're all going to disappear. But what's funny is that I can do this as like a bit now, so I can remember how that word I always tell you guys not to say, the one that starts with like you, and I'm like, okay, like Jeff Bezos is gonna eventually show up and like stop us, so be careful about saying The union word. The union word. I love doing that. I actually love doing that so much. It's always funny when I do it because then people like disappear. But yeah, as well as always, and maybe I should have said this before. I did that joke. My thing is that what a cliffhanger. This is perfect. See, chat. Look, we see in real time. We see in real time what happens, right? We see in real time what happens. This is exactly what I mean. Then all of a sudden, it's like, what a cliffhanger. What does it mean? 1 of 6? Yeah, it's a painful system. It's a painful system. See this? It's a painful system. And I hate that it has to do this, but this is the only way to really make it work in the long term. And I wish that there was an easier way to do it without suffering like a pre-roll ad if you have to reload. It's a painful system. Thankfully, only every hour. There we go. Have this. I'll just transcribe everything that I'm saying to the ones in like chat that are currently watching a 3-minute ad, which is so stupid. But yeah, just be mindful about what you subscribe for. Again, I make 6 figures. I don't need your money. So to the people who subscribed, I'm sorry that you spent your money on nothing, okay? However, I do appreciate it. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate it. But what I'm trying to say is please take care of yourselves before you spend money on like me. I'm not saying the 6 figures to like, to like flex on you. I'm saying it because like I know it's very easy to get caught up in this idea of like I want to support someone. I want to give them everything and I want to make sure that they're fine. I'm telling you explicitly, I don't need support because I don't want you to feel obligated. I don't want you to feel like you have to. And even if you want to, I feel happier with you supporting yourself, right? I feel happiest when you're taking care of yourself. This is just the reality of things. And yeah, again, it's because you also don't get anything. Like, yeah, you have a preset emotes. It just says hi. It just says hi. However, to the subscribers, again, as a recap, you do get access to a subscriber-only channel where I tell you that you made a bad choice. That's actually the whole point. So in Discord, if you connect your account to your Twitch account, you actually get access to subscriber-only stuff. There'll be more stuff coming, and you'll also eventually be able to see a breakdown of where the money goes. But I don't want to grow the divide between like the subscribers and the hoi polloi too much. I want to make sure that everyone feels welcome here. So it's gonna be like a very, very sort of like secondary focus compared to like the main focus of providing fun content for everyone. So, but again, thank you. I do appreciate it. But again, please take care of yourself first. Again, if I needed the money, I wouldn't be here streaming. Freedom! Freedom! See, the joke worked, right? If you say union, Jeff Bezos steps in and says, all right, run the ads quickly. He's talking about unions quickly. So yeah, just know that every hour, it's a very painful system. But basically, it's a choice between, and I found out about this. I'm allowed to talk about this because this is fairly public information. Because you can just go online and see the terms yourself. Every hour, if you don't run the ads for like 3 minutes, at like within that hour bracket, you get pre-roll ads. So if you refresh your browser, or you lose, or like it like dies for whatever reason, and you reload it, you then have to watch another 3 minutes of like ads, right? So 3 minutes every hour to save you the possibility of that happening, because it happens to me all the time when I reload a like tab. It makes it easier for you to switch back and forth too. I've noticed that when I switch tabs, it'll play ads when I come back, and it's like, the pre-roll got me, you know what I mean? So just be aware, this should help, but again, this is the lowest I can go to get rid of pre-rolls. I wish I could go lower, but this is just Twitch terms. There's not much I can do. But yeah, again, you get nothing for your money. I make 6 figures. I don't need the money. Please take care of yourself first. That makes me the happiest, okay? Makes me happy when you take care of yourself. And again, you get like one pre-built like default emote. Until tonight. There's more emotes coming tonight, so. But now that everyone's free, we'll move on to the next game. Give me just a second to set it up. We're going on the Crypt Master chat. That's right. Time to use our words. We've had a lot of practice now with all that rapping, right? All that, the devil's music. I don't know why it was so... I don't know why rapping was associated with like the devil. But it honestly, when it's good, it's good. Get ready to have some fun in Crypt Master in just a moment.